Hello, hello. Welcome back, Amazon sellers in the making. I'm Patrick Kincaid. You are jumping into a brand new phase from the Amazon selling blueprint today, right? So we are getting into the research phase where we're going to start finding that niche and or next product or products that you're going to launch in your Amazon business. So exciting stuff. We're getting into it, right? Kicking it off is lesson 5.01 on identifying your seller goals, okay? But before we go into that, I'm going to catch us up on where we have been, where we're at. So far, we're in the Amazon Selling Blueprint. We have covered the entire phase one, the plan phase, right? We went through foundations, mindset, business 101, Amazon Selling 101, and was all to prepare us to have a long, successful Amazon selling entrepreneurial business career. Okay? That was the plan phase. Now, we're going to continually check in with those things that we learned during the plan phase. But now we're going to be going on to this phase two of the blueprint, phase 2 of 7, and that is the research phase. Okay? And this is all about product and brand discovery, and especially the product and brand discovery system that I have created, come up with, modeled after others, brought in a lot of my own know-how and my own experience. Oh my gosh, my own experience, as well as the experience of my clients over the years. Okay, so that's where this research phase, it's going to be coming at you with, that's where it came from. It's going to be coming at you. I'm going to be coming at you in this phase through the map, search, validate, and innovate sections, with a lot of information, but mostly a lot of tactics and how-tos. And we're going to guide you through the process. It's kind of a big, well, it's probably the biggest section, the biggest phase and most difficult phase. When I say big, I mean it can be daunting once you get into it if you don't have a good map and if you don't have a guide on this journey. When I started selling, and I've shared this story before, but let me just bring you back to it. When I started selling on Amazon, I started out in retail arbitrage. So I learned kind of about the Amazon catalog and everything that was involved with finding products, like what that meant to find a product, to research and find a product to sell on Amazon, right? I had to figure all that out on my own, and I was looking for individual products, not necessarily part of a brand, okay? So research for a brand or a niche focused brand of products is a lot different than checking on retail arbitrage products or wholesale products that you're going to sell, a whole bunch of different products, right? We're trying to narrow down to one little subcategory, one little niche within the whole Amazon market. And so we got to dive down, down, down in the ocean, got to get past all the main categories as they go down and down and down, starting with department, going on down and down and down to the bottom. And we need to find a niche or a subcategory that we can, one, succeed selling in because there's low competition. Two, we're inspired by selling in that subcategory or in that niche. And three, that there's enough demand there for there's going to be enough customers that are going to come and buy our products as we launch them, right? So that's what is kind of the difference between niche research, niche brand product research, and just regular retail arbitrage or finding a one-off product. Research is all about, okay? When you're finding a one-off product, you can really just consider any product, right? Pretty much any product. Yeah, you're going to have some departments you're not going to go for or whatever, but any product within the departments that you are going to target as potential product ideas. When we're doing our niche research coming up, we first have to narrow it down to that small group of focused customers who are all sharing the same buying power and sharing the same group of interests that we're going to drive them to looking for our products. Okay? So we're in the research phase. We're starting the map section. Okay? And this is to get us kicked off and get you get your map in place, and your map really depends upon, for product research, really depends upon your seller goals and certain product criteria that you're going to set based on those goals and run your numbers. We're going to teach you how to really quickly calculate your numbers and some other things, but that's going to help you set up your map before we actually go start searching for products, okay? So that's what we're starting all about today with the Amazon Selling Blueprint Research Phase, Section 1 on Map. Research Map. Okay, so here's what we're going to be covering in the entire map section. And we're starting off today with this lesson, identifying seller goals. Then we'll go on to determining how much cash you'll need. From there, we're going to be setting product research criteria, right? Which we dipped our toes into research criteria on the last section of our, the final section, the Amazon Selling 101 section in our plan phase of the blueprint, right? So last lesson, I think, a couple lessons ago. So we're going to be setting that product research criteria now based upon our seller goals, right? Then we're going to go into, give you an intro into calculating your product numbers. We're going to be coming back to this product numbers thing quite a few times before it's all said and done with. And then as you've learned already, you're going to continually be monitoring, forecasting, recording, tracking all your product numbers. And so there's your business numbers, but part of those business numbers, a large part of them have to do with your product numbers, okay? Today, we're going to introduce you to calculating product numbers on one specific product at a time. So you can figure out what it's going to cost you, what it's going to get you in returns and in profit, and what that's going to mean for your business. Is it going to be good enough for you to sell that product? Okay, we're going to be introducing you to that in this map section here. Lesson 5.05, documenting the process for later. This has got two parts to it. You're going to be documenting the process of your research, so later when you check back to figure out what your next product you're going to launch is going to be, you're going to have that documented already with your niche and product research that you're doing now, right? So rather than reinventing the wheel the next time you want to go launch a product, you just go back to your product research that you already did and your niche research that you're going to have done after we go through this, and you go see what other products you had on the list that were looking good at the time that you created your picked your niche and went off with your first product. Okay, so we're documenting the process for that purpose to launch our second and third and fourth and fifth products. We're also documenting the process because when we're going to launch our product, we want to be able to target customers, but mostly how we're going to target them is we're going to bring them into our worlds, bring them into our brand, get them excited about our products before we even launch them. And how we do that is we're going to be sharing with them the process of this development of this product, right? You've seen it with like Apple launches. They leak out before the keynote address. So every summer, late summer, early fall, Apple has a keynote address, which is in September or October, where they come out and officially on stage launch the new iPhone and tell you what features are going to be on it and what it's all about and where they're moving forward. And you're going to be able to buy this in a week or whatever, right? Or in 3 weeks. So the keynote is actually when they actually launch it, okay? But leading up to that, there's a lot of leaked information. There's insinuations from Apple coming out. There's advertisements. And even after the keynote, before the actual launch, they'll have ads running that are sharing kind of the idea behind why they developed the new Apple phone the way they did. And you'll see those ads, they'll show like people using the phone behind the scenes to film a movie, right? And that's all bringing you into kind of linking how they develop the product with why you care, why the customers actually want this new version of the iPhone, right? So you need to document your process. For instance, when we're validating or innovating our product, which you're going to learn about pretty quick here in the research phase. When you're innovating, how did you decide to innovate with a certain feature, right? Well, you can share later if you document this process, and it's not that difficult. You just need to kind of keep track of what you're doing as we're doing it. You're going to want to be able to tell them and share with them kind of behind the scenes thoughts and things you did. You checked in with, these Facebook groups, and you really tuned into the pulse of the buyer and the customers. And we heard from Sally, who told us, hey, I want this feature on the products out there and I can't find it. And so we took that and we innovated it accordingly, right? So you're going to use that as a marketing tool later. And that's why you're going to learn in lesson 5.05 about documenting the process for later. Okay. Lesson 5.06, steps to choosing your niche and next products. I'm going to throw at you really the all-encompassing, full-on steps that you could start from beginning to finish and end up with your niche full of product ideas. Okay. That would round out the whole map section, right? That would give you kind of the springboard to move forward. And that would give you the understanding of product numbers and everything that I just talked about before you actually go start searching. Because it's a big catalog, right? What, we got 350 million products or something. You don't want to be looking at 350 million products and not know how to narrow down that search, okay? And we narrowed down that search with product numbers. We're going to be learning a lot about that, especially in these first 4 lessons of the map section. Okay, so that covers that. In this specific lesson 5.01, we were doing the overview of the research map section, lessons 5.01 to 5.04. And specifically, we're going to be really showing you, and I just did an overview of that map section just now, verbally, but now I'm going to kick you over to and going to introduce you to knowing your numbers. And really the first 4 lessons here are all about knowing your numbers. And it's those first 4 lessons that I talked about, okay? So we're going to introduce you to the overview of that you're going to be learning in the next 4 lessons. And then second in this lesson, we're going to have you download your tools you're going to need. And these tools you're going to be using throughout from here moving forward in your business. And then we're going to third help you identify your seller goals, which would be the first step in that know your numbers process. All right. So this first lesson is a little bit long because we had some introduction into the whole research phase. But so thanks for sticking it out with me. Without further ado, let's get busy. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about knowing your numbers, and it comes in a kind of a 4-step cycle here. First, we're going to identify your seller goals and really help you to set your Amazon profit goals and also determine your monthly sales necessary, which then that will feed into the second part of this, where we'll determine how much cash you'll need in order to meet those sales goals and your goals for your first year. From there, it goes into setting research criteria for each product that we're going to be investigating, and specifically which of those product ideas kind of fit in where we need them to fit in order to meet your goals and not spend too much with your first product launch, and kind of to set up your whole brand. And then lastly, I'm just going to give you a little brief glimpse into how to calculate your product numbers, and see both on the cost side of things what any product in particular may cost you to develop and launch, as well as what kind of revenue and profits you could expect from any one specific product. And I'm not going to get too deep into that, but I'm going to show you the tool and kind of give you a preparation for what's to come. All right, so we're going to get right out of the gates here, give you an action item, okay? A call to action. Number 1, uno. I want you to download the Helium 10 Chrome extension. Now, you may already have a Chrome extension such as Jungle Scout. You may already have Helium 10. You can really use any Chrome extension there is that's going to give us data on any product search on Amazon. But we recommend, and this lesson is kind of built around, as well as the remaining lessons is built around using the Helium 10 platform. It's my favorite set of tools. I test them all the big boys
Jungle Scout, Helium 10, and Viral Launch. I test them at least yearly, and I make a decision at that point which tool to go with for the next year or so. And currently, and for the last couple of years, it's been Helium 10. So you can go ahead and visit the masterprivatelabel.com/resources to get you a copy of the Helium 10 Chrome extension for free. Or you can also click in the resources section, the download section of this lesson in the platform here. So, action item number 2, right out of the gates, we got you 2 of them. We're going to download your copy of MPL Run Your Numbers, and this is a workbook that I've been developing for years, and I've first developed it for my own use, and now I give it to all my clients. And it really helps guide you down through these 4 steps of knowing your numbers. And you can get that at masterprivatelabel.com/numbers, or again, go into the download section of this course lesson. Okay, so number 1 in our wheel of knowing your numbers is identify your seller goals. So we want to kind of be looking at what your goals are in the next year. And I always ask my new clients, we spend a couple-hour call with our first coaching Zoom call together. I always spend 1 hour on kind of getting to the bottom of what their goals are as a seller for the next quarter, the next year, and in years to come. And so based upon your answers to that, what your goal is, you might want to learn and launch your brand, which would be more of a low to moderate profit, or you might want to fire your boss and really pay all your bills and not have to work anymore and be exclusively an Amazon entrepreneur, an e-commerce entrepreneur at the end of a year. And that would be a moderate to aggressive profit that you're going to be looking for by the end of this first year or so. And so using our MPL Run Your Numbers spreadsheet, if you look at the first sheet, which is number 1, seller goals, you can see I've set up a little tool here that has a good explanation. I'm not going to go really in depth into this. You can see for yourself. Get in here and play around, and you can put whatever your Amazon goal is. If it's to fire your boss, write that right in there in that green section. From that, you're going to determine if you're wanting to fire your boss and you need to earn, let's say, $120,000 a year in order to be able to not work a day job anymore, then put the monthly net revenue goal in here as $10,000 a month in that second green box down there. And then from that, you can also put that same number down there on your goal from above, down there on row 16. You can put in that same number, $10,000, and from that, as we can see here, on that line, you will be able to see, as I've shown here on example B, and also in here that on row 16, you can put 10,000 in here, and that will tell you how many sales you need, what sales revenue you need to generate per month in order to meet that goal within a year or within any given month. So you need to sell $40,000 a month in order to get $10,000 net revenue. Okay, so that's kind of step 1 here.
Well, there you go. You have now been introduced to the whole know your numbers process and got you actually identifying your seller goals. Okay, we're going to use those coming up in the next lessons. So I hope this has served you well. We will see you on the next lesson. I'm Patrick. Until then.